No, you're not supposed to relate to the Joker. Don't think about the rising up in equality. No, no, no. You're not supposed to relate to that. They made like $1 billion, and somehow we shat the bed on a really good franchise. Of course, it's not lower. 37%. That's kind of low, honestly. All right, let's watch it. I'm ready to learn.
Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today we're going to be talking about Joker 2, Folie à Deux. This is the sequel of the original Joker film from 2019. And right now, the reviews are in and people are very disappointed. Not only is this film a disappointment at the box office, but
almost 50% less than the first film's previews. That's so bad.
Viewers of the film are walking out of theaters, giving very bad reviews. Overall, a very big disappointment, and a lot of people have a very simple question. Why was this movie even made? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It's a cash grab. And
this is where I disagree. I think this was a psyop to make people not like it so that they become disillusioned with the franchise. Yeah, I don't think it's a cash grab. I just think they shat the bed on purpose. Yeah, that's my psyop belief.
I believe in the very, very controversial opinion that maybe we should have some more standalone films, right? Just one successful film, no unnecessary sequels. However, a lot of times when you have a successful first film, sequels are made as a simple cash grab, and they often work to not only damage the reputation of the franchise as a whole, but sometimes it damages the original story as well, and that's what happened with Joker 2. In fact, a lot of people believe that this film was basically made out of spite.
Yeah, that's what I believe. This is my honest opinion. I remember Shitpost, so friend of the stream, Shitpost, runs a funny, like, a little meme account on Twitter, and they said they watched it, and he said it was awful. Like, god-awful. Just horrendous. Like, borderline unwatchable.
The fans of the first film, they genuinely believe that this was made to be a big middle finger to the fans of the original Joker film from 2019. Now let's go back to that film, the original Joker, infamous. 2019. So this was a film that a lot of people did not expect to succeed. It was kind of doomed in many different ways. It was being directed by Todd Phillips, who is most known for doing the Hangover trilogy. Also, it was a background story.
That's actually impressive because I did not like Hangover past the first one. And even then the first one was kind of just just a party movie, so I'm kind of shocked that he made something like this. I watched the movie, I sat through all of it, and I was like, damn, that was actually surprisingly deep.
Of the Joker, and a lot of people were just like, who even asked for this? But we know the story came out, and it was a huge success. A lot of people fell in love with the story, they fell in love with the character, or at least sympathized with the character Arthur Fleck, and ended up being a enormous box office success, getting over $1 billion, becoming the first R-rated film to do so, and also it was extremely well reviewed.
The critics didn't like it though. See, the people liked it, the critics did not, because they're the system.
By the audience scores, and of course there was some mishap in the media. A lot of people were making ridiculous claims about this film in the months leading up until its release. There was a general narrative out there where people were trying to say that this film, the original Joker, was going to inspire an incel uprising.
You want to know what actually inspired the incel uprising that these fucking jokesters and clowns are talking about? Frickin' COVID, man. Having people shut in for months? Yeah, no, that's what did it. Not a frickin' movie. No one gives a frick about that.
Where people, these incels, would go to the movie theater and they'd be inspired by this story and go out and, how do I say this on YouTube, commits mass Minecrafting of people. That's what they genuinely thought would happen, which is kind of ironic how...
It's funny because it happened right before COVID, and they were all saying, like, yeah, watch out, there's gonna be school shooters and shit, and I'm like, It's just a movie, man. Like, yeah, there's crazy people everywhere that take things too seriously. Like Catcher in the Rye, they said that person was like, oh, yeah, it's because of the book, and they have to ban the book now because the book inspired him. It's like, okay, man, crazy person does crazy things. It must be because of that.
How this film was being
John
demonized
Lennon.
by the media, and then it's a story about someone being kicked down by everyone in society. But anyways, there were no massacres as a result of this film. In fact, the only thing that looks like a massacre coming out of this film is Joker 2, Folie à Deux. Now, we should have known better with a title like that. You knew this was going to be a bunch of...
Folie à Deux. I keep saying it's just Folie à Deux. He's trying to say Folie à Deux.
pretentious slop. And the big change between the first film and this one was that this was going to be a pseudo musical, where basically they're going to interweave a bunch of musical performances throughout the film, which is a very odd choice for this film based on...
Why, though? Why a musical, man? It wasn't a musical in the first one.
On what happened in the original one, but that is something that was a big departure. And I'm not going to spoil anything, I'm just going to talk very generally.
Because Lady Gaga? Oh, Lord, man. Why did they... Gaga can only do musicals? I don't think so, man. I think that Gaga can be a good performer for her own right. Like, it doesn't mean that she has to have a musical. I think they just wanted to shit on the original movie.
But in the film itself, some people really consider the musical performances to not only be the filler, the fluff holding together the terrible story, that it was actually like propping up the story entirely, which is insane because in Joker 2, the storyline is so boring and just a regurgitation of most of the events of the first film. It's genuinely boring. So some people actually thought the musical numbers were more interesting than the story, which is...
Yeah, probably because Gaga was actually performing. Like, that's so funny. That's sad! You're telling me that they couldn't write a decent story from the first one? Yeah, apparently Gaga did her job. I don't know.
An insane thing to say about a Joker film. But overall, there is a lot to say about this, and I think the storyline is so convoluted. I think this review really captures it. So, citing a quote from the first Joker film, you wouldn't get it. And then they reply saying, yeah, no one does, bro. What's going on here? Referring to the story of Joker 2, which, again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but basically, it picks up where the last film left off. Arthur Fleck goes on trial for the crimes of the Joker, and it becomes a sort of how responsible is he for all of these actions and these murders and terrible things. And basically, to skip forward to the end, the ending is just atrocious. It's the worst thing ever. It basically makes the entire first film completely meaningless, and it takes away all of the mystery surrounding that film, the ambiguities. It takes away really the heart of that entire movie. And it really not only, this story in Joker 2 didn't just destroy Joker 2.
I don't know if he's going to say it, but I will if he gets to it.
It destroyed the first film too, which is amazing. A two stones with one bird kind of situation. A whole bunch of goofery right there. But the funny thing is, in terms of performances, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga both did well. Like, I don't think anyone's shocked about Phoenix, but Lady Gaga, she did what she's supposed to, right? She's supposed to go in there and sing some musical numbers. Her take on Harley Quinn is a much more different one than we've seen. She's not just some...
I think he meant to say two birds with one stone, not two stones with one bird. I think he just misspoke.
Pet for Joker to play with. She's more of a crazy, fanatical person obsessed with the Joker, but that's a whole different route. But they really did Harley what Quinn? They could for these roles. This story was just so bad. Like, it doesn't matter how good the acting is when the story is that bad. You can't fix the issue when the bones of the story are the problem. Mm-hmm. Now, reflecting on the end of this movie...
Now you're done.
And how it dismantled the events of the first Joker film. It's no surprise that the director Todd Phillips says now he's done with the DC universe, basically saying, yep, I destroyed that and now I'm going to move on and, say no more on the subject. Well, there is a genuine theory out there, and a lot of people believe this, and I think there's some merit to it.
I do.
There's something off about Joker 2. It feels like a deliberate middle finger to the fans of the first film.
Apparently they talk down during the story a lot and kind of almost fourth wall and look at the audience and go, see, he's a bad guy. Don't relate to him.
It's trying to undermine everything that it was building up. It's basically like one of those scenarios where you weren't supposed to like the character, but people did anyways. People liked the character Arthur Fleck, and they even sympathized with him. And unfortunately, that wasn't the goal of film.
Yes, it's the whole point of being an anti-hero. There are plenty of anti-hero movies there where the character is evil, but he's relatable because you can empathize with why. And it's just bro, it's a fictional character. Why? You can feel bad for people under their circumstances. Is how it makes you human.
Phillips, apparently you were supposed to hate Arthur Fleck, and he was very upset about it. So, he comes out with a couple $100 million joke where he's going to go own the chuds who liked Arthur Fleck by dismantling his character entirely in the second film. It's a very elaborate gotcha moment, but a very unwelcomed one. And a lot of people, like I said, feel like this whole film, Joker 2...
Yeah, you really owned the chuds with this one. I mean, technically, you took a big fat shit on the legacy of a really good movie, and you just owned them, Just walk away. Didn't happen.
Was an FU to the fans of the original film, which is, again, a costly own on the chuds. We've seen scenarios like this before in media where there's characters you're not supposed to like, but fans end up liking them, and then the directors panic and then try to rewrite the character in the most ridiculous ways to make you look like a fool for liking them in the first place. We've seen it with The Man in the High Castle. We've seen it most recently with The Boys, oh, you stupid chuds, you're not supposed to like Homelander, he's stupid. And then they have to make him comedically embarrassing and ridiculous.
Oh my god, that's actually so true. What's wrong with relating to a character that's kind of dumb and silly, man? Yeah, it's Hollywood, man. Sorry. Yeah, I'm drinking water. Switch my bottle.
In the latest season to make you feel stupid for liking him or even enjoying the character in any sort of a way. That's kind of what was going on with Arthur Fleck in the first Joker film. You weren't supposed to like him, apparently, and now you have Phillips very angry trying to unwind anything you would have liked about that first film. Like I said, they didn't just destroy Joker 2. They just...
So basically he made a really good script on accident. Is that what I'm gathering? He was meant to make a story about how the Joker's a dickhead and how he's an asshole. And it was kind of an accident. Now he's like, frick you guys. And he's pointing the finger at them. Imagine him pointing the finger at you guys.
Destroyed the first film as well, which is impressively bad. And it seems almost intentional at that point. All this to get an own on people, which is amazing how someone can get so much funding for something that is basically a personal middle finger to fans of your own work. Kind of crazy. But the audience scores are reflective of that. Obviously, not everything from Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that always means something. But one
I thought it would be lower than that, honestly.
Thing I do find kind of as a legitimate thing to look at is when the audience score and the critic scores are really similar and also really low. That generally means something. It generally means...
When they're really close together, usually what happens is that these Hollywood critics that get paid to, write reviews, it's usually a little bit higher than the audience scores because the average, an average Joe's gonna speak their fucking mind, you know what I'm saying? Unless they're getting censored, but that's another story.
It's really bad. Okay, you don't see it happen too often where both sides agree that something's really bad, and that's what's happening. No matter what site you look at, all the reviews are very similar. They're both low from critics and regular audience scores as well. And there's no excuse for this right now. I mean, think about DC products right now. You have the Joker flopping hard, but then at the same time, we're witnessing The Penguin on HBO Max, which is absolutely killing it right now, and I would very highly recommend you check this out. I mean, it's already breaking.
Yo, Chad, should I watch it? Not on stream, obviously. No shit. Should I watch it after when I make my dinner? Okay, I'll watch it. All right.
Breaking all kinds of records for a first-time premiering show on HBO Max. And on top of that, the audience scores are phenomenal. People are really, really happy with the story. And another one that kind of felt like Joker, where people are like, did we really want this story in the first place? But man, oh man, are they killing it so far with that. So again, I highly recommend The Penguin. Definitely worth checking out.
Penguin, the evil guy.
To put a nail in the Joker 2, this was a monumental flop. And again, another example of a cash grab sequel that went beyond just disappointment. It literally tarnished the first film that so many people, like myself, enjoyed. A story that did what it had to do, made a very compelling story, and left just enough ambiguity at the end where it made it interesting and it had a little bit of mystery to it. But
I still don't understand, because the movie at the end, it kind of left it's open-ended, but like at the end of the day, me as an audience, like as a person who enjoyed the movie, I didn't want another movie. I thought it'd be pointless. Like the whole point is like it's a standalone. Like, he kills a bunch of people and then he goes crazy and like kind of lets go and blah blah blah. I didn't expect this to have a sequel, and what were you even gonna talk about, man?
All of those gaps have now been filled in the worst way possible, and all the things you liked about the first film.
No pun intended. Yeah, no pun intended. All those holes got filled somehow.
Have been completely dismantled. Yeah. Like, I cannot believe this actually happened, but it should have been too surprising knowing this was a sequel and likely a cash grab. But beyond that, it seemed like a personal vendetta from its own director against the...
Yeah, by the way, I'm going to spoil it because it's such a bad movie and you shouldn't even watch it as a joke. At the end... somewhere in the middle or the end, he basically gets assaulted by a group of guards. Yeah, very cool. And people were saying that it's to emasculate him as a character so that people stop relating to him. Yeah. Like actually full on, like assaulted, like raped, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that cool how they just like ruin a character just to stick it to the chuds?
Fans of his own original work. But for now, it's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topic in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke. Very, very sucky. Horrible movie. Don't even watch it. I'm not going to. Fuck them. Disgusting. Oh. So we'll watch The Penguin instead. How about that? Yeah, Chud's owned. I sure showed them.